So we finally made it. We're going to be looking at how to simplify surds and some arithmetic associated with surds. But all we're looking at in this video here is simplifying these standalone surds where you've got a square root, some number on the inside, and you just want to simplify so you're working with smaller numbers. So with that being said, let's have a look at example 12a. We're going to zoom in. And what do we have here? We've got the square root of 32. So it's been a while since we've done these, but all we do is we think of two numbers that will multiply to give you 32, the first one being a square number. So the combination of numbers that would work here would be 16 times 2, which means effectively we can think of this as 16 times 2, but we can further simplify that because 16 is a square number. So the square root of 16 is 4, which means we will have 4 sitting outside the square root. The 2 would remain inside the square root because we can't simplify root 2. So we just have to write that root 2 exactly as it is. So root 32 simplifies to 4 root 2. And really the skill is to think of two numbers that will multiply to give you 32, first one being a square number. Let's go ahead and move on to part B. So let's move across here. So we've got 5 root 48 that we want to go ahead and simplify. The only difference here is we've got a number on the outside, but that just means in terms of our first line of working out, it would be 5 multiplied by, and then we rinse and repeat the same thing. So 48, two numbers multiplied to give you 48, first one being a square number. 16, coincidentally 16 works again, so 16 lots of 3 will give me my 48. Now, once again, the 16 here does further simplify because the square root of 16 is 4, like we saw earlier. But because there's a 5 on the outside, we have to multiply that 5 by that 4 upon simplification, right? So this means we're going to have 20 on the outside, and the root 3 will just remain by itself underneath the square root. So 20 root 3 will be the final answer. So that's how you work with when you have a number outside the square root. Now, the more common question that you would get in an exam is a combination of surds that you have to go ahead and simplify, and potentially there might be a like surds after that that can be further simplified. So let's have a look at this one over here. So we've got 2 root 80 minus root 45 plus 2 root 63. So let's go ahead and simplify each of these surds individually. So once again, we've got a 2 on the outside, so it'll be 2 multiplied by, and then we're going to think of combinations that will multiply by 80. So 16 lots of 5 will give me my 80. So we're working with a lot of 16s today. That's just coincidence. So 16 lots of 5 will give me my 80. And I'm going to pause the working out there. We'll continue the simplification afterwards. Let's go across and finish off all of these surds before we simplify them individually. Then we're looking at 45, right? So two numbers multiplied to give me 45, 9 and 5 works. So this will be written as 9 times 5 plus 2 times, and then we've got 63. So 9 times 7 gives me my 63. So 9 times 7 will be here. All right. So our first step here is to go through each of those surds and just write down those correct combination of numbers. All right, let's go ahead and finish it, right? So looking purely only on this first part there, whoops, I just made a marking there. Look at that first term over there. Root 16 is 4, but I've got a 2 on the outside, so that entire thing simplifies to 8 root 5. Moving on to the second term, we're going to subtract. Root 9 is 3, the 5 stays inside the square root. And moving on to the next part, the 2 is already on the outside, so we'll leave that there for the time being. Root 9 is 3, but there's a 2 on the outside, so that will be 6. 7 remains inside the square root. So just to clarify with the 6, that's 2 lots of the 3 that would have been simplified from the root 9. Now, a lot of students might just carelessly leave this as the final answer, but we're not done because these first two terms over here are like surds. They both have the same surd, root 5. So we can simplify that, right? So if you have 8 root 5s and you're getting rid of 3 root 5s, you're going to have 5 of them remaining plus 6 root 7. We can't add these two together because they have different surds. So root 5 and root 7, they're different surds. You can't add, well, they're not like surds, so you can't add them. So that just means that this entire question here will simplify to 5 root 5 plus 6 root 7. So long story short, all you have to do for these types of questions over here is look for two numbers that will multiply, first one being a square number, and then you just break those numbers down like that. Hey everybody, if this video helped you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It supports the channel and helps me keep making more free content for you. I'll see you guys next time.